Tamara Caulder Richardson, and welcome to the Seeking Heaven channel.
And welcome to the Seeking Heaven channel, everyone. We are live. So if you want to say hello in the chat, feel free to do so. And we have a super special guest today that I've been personally really excited about. And let me just welcome everyone. If you haven't subscribed, at least I have to say this because people forget, please subscribe so that way you can get all our events and everything that is coming up, new episodes and so forth. And Craig's going to have another one next week. We're just going to touch on a few things today. Let me tell you about our guest. So we have Craig Campobasso. Now, he is an award-winning filmmaker and Emmy-nominated casting director, as well as UFO researcher, experiencer, starseed, and he's also a former guest on Beyond Belief with George Norrie. And he just completed, I believe it was 7 episodes in the second season of Travel Channel's UFO Witness. And he's the author of many books, many best-selling books, such as the UFO Hotspot, Compendium, which we're going to be talking about a little bit today, as well as the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, and many others. So welcome, Craig.
How are you?
I am good. I have been so excited about this. And we've got, oh, great. We've already got people popping in, saying hello. Hello, Adriana. We got a bunch of people popping in.
All right.
And it is going to be interesting because let me tell you what. And if you haven't seen the episode with Craig, I don't know, it was about a year ago that Craig actually was referred to me. And I was just delighted after I met him and his information. And I do have your 2 books here so I can show people, which I love. And if you order through, which all the links are below, if you order from Craig below, he'll give you a signed copy. And this is
yes, and
personalize
it. And I'll personalize it to you. And if you want to get gifts for Christmas, I'll sign it to your family members or friends. You just tell me who you want me to sign it to. So I get lots of those. Lots of people do that. So that's pretty cool.
No, that is cool. Well, look, I know we're having this thing coming up, and I want to tell you all first before we get into it, because I have some questions for Craig, and I want you to meet him and get to know how fascinating he is with the whole ET, extraterrestrial, ultra-dimensional realm of different races, solar systems, and his years of study with MUFON and on his own. And it's just we're not going to tell all of it, but he's going to give you a snippet. So today I wanted you to be able to meet Craig, but he is having next Saturday, December 3rd at 12 noon Pacific time, and that would be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a 2-hour workshop on some of the information from this book and some of the things that are not in this book, the UFO Hotspot Compendium, that is not all in there, that you're going to hear secrets and be able to ask questions to Craig directly. So if you can't make it, the replays, that'll be up there, and they're unlimited replays. It's $29. I'll be letting you know where the events at, where you can sign up and register. But tell everyone just a little snippet, like how did you get interested in this topic? And then I'm still blown away how you found out later on in life your dad was also involved with this whole community of this
oh my God. I know that amazingly so when I was writing the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, right, I strangely in the middle of writing it got a phone call from a genealogist in Canada who said that she was my 4th or 5th cousin, wanted some information on my mother's side, which I gave her, and we got talking, and I said, hey, I have a biological father that I've never been able to find.
Wow.
And I said, my mom didn't know what happened to him, and I just have a name. And she goes, I can find him. And she did. And long story short, he had passed away, I believe in 2006. And I, through a whole set of circumstances, I found his half brother who was living around the corner from me for like 20 some years.
So strange.
Right.
Crazy.
And my biological father and his wife lived very close to me in the area where I live as well. And, you start thinking, gosh, I bet you I saw them in the supermarket. I bet you, you never, so many things go through your mind. Anyway, long story short, my uncle told me that he was in the Air Force. And then as a afterthought, he said, oh, by the way, he was in Project Blue Book.
I mean, that's just nuts. And tell everybody real quick. I mean, I know it is Project Blue Book. There was actually a terrific series with this, was it Hynek?
Oh, yeah.
That was really good. I wish they kept
that. Definitely. And so Project Blue Book is the Air Force study on UFOs that started in 1952 and was decommissioned in January of 1970, which investigated over 11,000 sightings. And its main study was to determine if UFOs were a threat to national security and to scientifically analyze UFO-related data. Now, here I am finding this information out while I'm writing my first MUFON book, The Mutual UFO Network, which is a US-based nonprofit organization of civilian volunteers who study reported UFO sightings, right? That's the first coincidence. And that blew me away because never in a million years did I expect to hear that, right? And then the next thing is my uncle told me, he said, well, when he decided to leave the Air Force after many years, he came back to Los Angeles and he met someone who got him into the union, and he ultimately became the head of construction at Warner Brothers for film and television. Now, I've been a casting director in film and television for over 30 years, and I worked out the dates. When I was working at Universal, he was working at Warner Brothers. They are two studios backed up to each other by Barham Boulevard, right? And I'm like, it's so strange that it's in the DNA, right? It's in your DNA. I mean, our lives cross paths, and that we looked, especially when we were younger, like our baby pictures, we look identical. When we were young, we look identical. And
picture here. I think you got a picture right here. I mean,
yes.
I mean, look at that. Look at that,
Yeah.
y'all. I mean, come on. I mean, do they not favor?
Yeah.
How old was he there? 20s? He looks like a baby.
Well, there he was definitely under 18 because that's his Air Guard picture. He wanted to go into the Air Guard because he really wanted to go into the Air Force. So their mother, who was, they both have the same mother, and she had to sign a piece of paper to allow him to go into the Air Guard underage. And when he turned 18, they put him straight into the Air Force. So can you imagine him being there and knowing all of the inner workings and things like that? Now, I obtained, when I was doing the UFO Hotspot Compendium, I obtained real Project Blue Book files, right? And they are actually, whoever typed them up, they're signed by that person. They're, they literally say exactly what everyone thought and what happened, and hypothesizing and things like that. So it would have been interesting. I have to say, my uncle did say he was a man of few words. He said, I didn't know that much about him because he never shared. He was very quiet. Really? He was very tight-lipped.
There might have been a reason for that.
Yes, well, of course, for what he knew. And he said, and my sons tried to get it out of him many, many times. And he would just say, yeah. He would say, yeah, some people say they exist. That was his answer. And I was like, oh, man, if I would have known him, I would have gotten it out of him for sure. That kind of thing. But if they were secrets, I, of course, would never spill the beans.
Sure.
Right. Because I truly believe they're secret for a reason. right? That kind of thing.
Yes.
So it was just fascinating to learn that. And because, I had just wondered about him my whole life, and my mom didn't know that much about him, right? It was just one of those things. So,
Well,
or
so
what?
a little love affair, but she didn't really actually know him that much. Well, I understand my mom had a love affair too, and here I am. So, but I still believe that there are no coincidences.
Right.
At all.
I totally believe that too. And my mother wanted me wholeheartedly. This was back in a time where you were really looked down upon and people called you names, and everyone was telling her to get an abortion, go to another state, have the baby, put it up for adoption, and all that. And my mom was a very strong woman. And she, even though she's English, Irish, and Scottish, she identified with Irish. So she really was, she was strong, right? She was very strong. And she said to all of them, nope, I'm having this baby. I want this baby. I love this baby. And we had, of course, an amazing bond.
Is your mom still living?
No, she passed away in 98, but she has visited me many times. I actually have caught her on camera.
Really?
When she's visited from the other side. Yeah.
Wow. Do you get to see some of her actual face, or is it an orb?
You will see. No, it's her actual face in 3D motion as she was turning, like when she was turning like this. And I was friends with Sylvia Brown, the psychic, who wrote over 60 books in her lifetime. And yes. And Sylvia told me, she said, when you go back to the other side, you go back to looking young.
Yeah.
And that's how you will stay. So when my mother appeared, she looked like her young self. So when I show people the photo, I show them a picture of my mom when she looked like that. And then when I show them the photo, they literally fall over. I mean, everyone in my family were crying tears of joy. I took it to her two best girlfriends, and when they saw it, they started crying. They're like, oh my God, that's Marie. And and then when my stepfather passed, about a year later, my mom brought him to me from the other side, and I got to experience in the astral actually hugging both of them, but primarily hugging my father and just crying tears of joy that, he was well and looked great and all that, because he had Alzheimer's for many years at the end there. So
that happens to people. It's pretty common to,
Yes. Yeah. So I have to say, I love to tell these stories because I want people, when they know they've lost their loved ones, that they are there and they are watching over them. And they may show you a sign or they may not. But it's for whatever they believe your highest good would be.
Well, you're absolutely right. And that's what I love so much about you, is you're so deeply spiritual, Craig. And I was, for those of you that the first time I interviewed Craig, I was a little bit green about interviewing on this UFO ET things. Little did I know, I've got this whole history. Who knew? And so thanks, Craig, for activating me by your presence. So now
you're welcome.
Others just by watching this, and now you're double activated. But yeah, because there's, we were talking pre-show that some of this information, it's all connected, right? We have light bodies, and this dimension is just one timeline in one dimension, but we are vastly huge. We could be operating on multiple planets at the same time we're here, which if you think about it, kind of makes your mind a little nutty to think about that. But, so we, a lot of people are, have a little, maybe concern or excitement about ETs or engaging with ETs. But honestly, I think we are a lot of us, the ETs, our DNA came from there, and we're not being told our true history. So they look like us. I mean, we look like them. And then there's some that don't so much. And I love the first book that I read that you did. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, we're going to talk about this webinar. But those of you that attend the webinar for $29, which is what a deal, because you get Craig for 2 hours, and he's so gracious, he'll answer questions as well. If I've asked you things directly, and you tell me if you know, or you'll say, I don't know. But reading this book, which I told Craig, I said, this is... my God's went, this is real. I mean, it really hit me like, oh my gosh, there is so much in here. And the artwork is amazing. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it. So
it's really amazing.
The artwork in here, and you can get the color version. I think I need to get the color version because I read it so much, because you have the in the hardback, you get the color version.
There's no hardback. The publisher only did the soft cover. So unfortunately, but
tell everybody. Yes.
But we are making this into a documentary right now, and it's an extension of the book, and we're bringing on the real live face-to-face contactees telling you their stories. Some have actual pictures of the human extraterrestrials, and we're bringing on many hybrids. We have a mantis hybrid, an Arcturian hybrid, a Pleiadian hybrid, and then we have channeled segments, where the information was channeled. And so what we've done is all of the artwork, I hired a brand new artist, so all the artwork is going to be new, not even from the book, but it is now. Like, we've already done about 90, and it is beyond spectacular color, and they're, we're making them all 3D. Some things we are animating, doing through CGI, bringing the ETs to life that way as well.
Oh man!
And if you're into ETs, this documentary will blow your mind, because it is 100% ET, and it's a lot of people you haven't seen before in documentaries about UFOs, right? Because this is more
people we know
on the extraterrestrials. What was that?
People we know. You're saying that we don't realize they're hybrids or whatnot.
No. I mean, in other words, there's contactees, like, human contactees here, but usually a contactee is somebody who is a starseed from that star system, right? Because usually the people that come and tend to them are from their own race or family members or friends, so that there's more of a familiar thing. So it'll be called the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, the documentary.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, next summer, hopefully, or in the fall. So,
well, I told you're welcome. We'll promote it, do whatever you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'll come back.
I am like so excited at anything that you do. I think that you are you are a golden spiritual wisdom nugget. So
thank you.
that people need to know about. So now let's talk about this new UFO hotspot.
Compendium.
And about how you started this. Like, why did this? I know you've had a lot of personal experiences, and what people are going to learn from this webinar that's coming up next weekend. And again, if you can't attend the webinar, you'll get the replays. It'll be great. And you can watch them unlimited. But tell us about how this all came about, this book.
Yeah. So I got a call from the MUFON publishers over at Red Wheel Weiser Books. And they said, well, we want you to do a follow-up because the ET Almanac has done so well. And we have an idea. And right now, the idea is to do a UFO bucket list of places to visit. And so, and I said, ooh, that sounds good. And I said, well, how are we going to go about that? and they said, well, we're going to have the head of MUFON send out a letter to all of the state directors to nominate their favorite UFO hotspots, right? I myself already had my own, and a few that have never been revealed before, right? That the main public didn't know about, right?
Like
that were
Alexandria, like major, like underneath. I didn't realize that underneath, and they got so much action. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, so we did that. I compiled everything, and then just started writing the things. We ended up with 35 hotspots, and what's great about the book is that you get to learn the entire story of that hotspot, and then you get to learn what was the outcome with MUFON. What was the outcome with Project Blue Book? What was the outcome with other investigators, right? And so you get to hear what is the latest up to date there. Then I give you everything that you can do when you visit that hotspot, with all the phone numbers, email addresses, websites, and things like that. Like, for instance, if you wanted to go to Giant Rock and the Integratron, which are synonymous, they're there because they're only a few miles apart. And there's a historian who will do tours at Giant Rock. And so you can hire her to take you out there, because it's in the middle of the desert. You're going to really need a guide anyway. And primarily, you can get out there in a car, but it's very bumpy, right? So a 4-wheel drive is better. And she'll take you out there. I would say better to go at night. If you have night vision binoculars, bring them. And she'll tell you the whole story of Giant Rock. If you want to go to the Integratron, you go to their website, integratron.com, and you can sign up for a sound bath, which are the singing bowls in the second story under the dome, right? It's a resonation chamber, right? And I'll talk more about this in the bigger part of the seminar, because it is all extraterrestrial technology, right? That was given to George Van Tassel to build, right?
Really?
So, yeah. So it's very, very, very fascinating. And so there's that, but you have to make a reservation. You can't just show up to the Integratron, right? They won't let you in. So, and they give you a brief history when you're there, and you can tour the grounds, and they have a beautiful gift shop. I love the sound bath. When you lay on a mat under the dome and you hear those sounds, because it's a resonation chamber, it's like the sounds are levitating you off the floor. And when you leave there, you feel light as a feather. You feel so good, like it's regenerated all the cells in your body.
Oh, we need
right?
that.
We need that. And that alone is, I mean, it is so amazing. And of course, I know the 3 sisters that own it. So when I go, they're like, you want to go again? And I'm like, yes. They go, we'll just squeeze you in. We'll just squeeze you in. I said, oh, I could just go in all day long.
Well, I love how you've got, like, in your book, you've got really cool things, not only the places, but also suggestions, like who are good guides, where are places to eat, where are, like, all the cool stuff that you need to know, and the phone numbers and the contact and the address, so you can plot out what part of the country that you want to go. And it's interesting. I got to tell you a couple of things. First of all, this is so cool. I love synchronicity. So when you're talking about sound, I've been getting a lot of channeled information on sound therapy and frequency, and about changing our vibrational structure and our DNA structure. So going in this place, if you're saying the dome and with the sound therapy, wouldn't that be some healing on a DNA level?
It absolutely would be.
Okay.
And that ETs do heal with sound a lot. And I was healed once through what I called the sound the roiling sound vibration. It's happened to me twice in my lifetime. And I was feeling, one time I went to Sedona with a friend, and we were in adjoining rooms, and I just wasn't feeling myself. I was like, I feel like there's probably something wrong with me, but I don't know what. And I was going to go to the doctor when I came home, right? And when I was there, this is the second time it happened, which was in the 90s, is all of a sudden, it felt like an earthquake was happening in my room, and I woke up and my eyes are looking, and everything is roiling. All these sound waves are roiling like this. Everything is rattling in the room, but nothing is falling and breaking, right?
Okay.
And all my friends have known throughout my lifetime about my connection to extraterrestrials, and including my friend who was in the next room. She woke up and heard it and was terrified that they came and took me. And she said that I sat there frozen in fear until the morning when I could call to see if you were okay, right? Because she was too afraid to call me. I didn't have a cell phone at that time, so it would have been like room to room. And anyway, she was thrilled. But I will tell you, after it happens, you feel like you could walk on cloud nine. There is like nothing like it. It is the most amazing feeling. You are so happy that like if you saw somebody pointing a gun at you, you could charm that gun out of their hand, right?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
that is, I definitely believe our galactic family they want to assist us. And I think it's that free will thing that they're not just going to, show up and help. But a lot of times I'll say like, hey, if there's things in the, let's just saying that's being dropped in airplanes, let's just say
Right.
it looked like smoke. We won't say what that is, but I'll say, look, I would like, my angelic team, the divine, and my galactic family, where, whatever's they're hearing, I would like for you to just go ahead and cleanse that, because that is against my free will. So go ahead and just fix me up, whatever.
That's right.
I could be ingesting things that I'm not really aware of too, that maybe
Right.
might not be the best for me. So I just go ahead and say that is against my will if it's unknown. Therefore, I would like for you to step in and clean me up.
Yeah. That's right.
You have to make it known, right? You have to say, go ahead. They can't just intervene. It's against free will. But if you have a call or a request, they can consider that.
They can. And at a certain point, when I was writing my book series, The Autobiography of an Extraterrestrial Saga, not that with
the other one. I don't have that.
That's the other one. Yeah, I have it over there. I was directed by the angelics to create a universal seal of protection postcard.
I've got it.
Right?
I love it.
You've got it. Yeah.
And you know what? Some of my members have bought it from your site because they
saw
your thing.
They saw it again. You look at the episodes a year ago. There's 2 of them, Craig. They're phenomenal. Where he talks about some of the races, and this is it right here.
That's it right there. So there's 3 divine M's. The cobalt blue is for Archangel Michael. The gold is for the Archangel Metatron, and the silver is for Father Melchizedek. And so this is the trine of the universe, and it's amazing. So those are on the website on the same page that you have the link up. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, they're there if people are interested. Yeah, it's amazing.
I bought it too, and you can buy a
on
this website, which is also the same place you can get the books, which is
the books.
right here, correct?
Yes, you can get the UFO Hotspot, and the ET Almanac there. And then on the home page is where the autobiography of an extraterrestrial saga is. There's four books in the series now. I'm writing 2 prequel books, and you can buy all 4 of them. And if anybody buys all 4, tell them that to email me through the website and say, I saw you on the Seeking Heaven show. I just bought the books. And I will also send you a free Stranger at the Pentagon book.
No way. Oh my God. Okay.
And I will sign them all and send them as well. So, yeah.
Which you've also done the short film on Stranger at the Pentagon.
Yes.
Which is phenomenal. And when you get, which you kind of tie that back into, which is about Valiant Thor, which is a creative being, an angel, basically,
right. That's
our understanding. It's in this section under Alexandria. And when it was reading about why he was here and here 3 years underneath, actually, it became so real for me when I was reading that when he was trying to tell how to help humanity, which is very similar to what a lot of starseeds are getting some of the information.
Right. Exactly.
It really is, which is very evidential when several people are getting very similar information from the higher divine sources, our higher self, our guides, angelics, and galactic family, and that they basically ignored him. But when he had such a pure love to be able to help, reading that whole section, I was just drawn to tears. It would surprise me how touched I was.
Yeah, it's amazing. Lots of people, when they read when I write things about him, they cry. I cry.
Really?
I cry as well when I hone into his energy. Sometimes I'll sob for 15 minutes because his energy is so beautiful. But you know what's cool? That's also in the book is there's the coordinates to where his ship is out at Lake Mead. There's the coordinates if you want to go see where Lonnie Zamora saw the 2 little extraterrestrials in the ship in Socorro. There's the coordinates to where George Adamski met Orthon as well. There's the coordinates to where Travis Walton had his abduction. And so it's a whole rounded thing in some of these places. If you want to know where the exact spot is, you'll have the coordinates in there. And you can go. Yeah, it's fun to experience it. Lots of people love doing it. People are sending me things already, hitting all the spots.
Well, and some of these are hotspots. Now, I wanted you to tell people some of the things that you're going to go. I mean, there's personal stories I know that you have. You can't. This book's pretty full, but there's things that you can't put everything in it.
Right.
That you're going to go in a little bit more detail about your personal experiences in each area and what to expect. There are some that are, I guess you would say, that are starseed destination that are really a draw. And it's funny, before right around when your book came out and I saw your emails, right around the same time, I started getting messages being woken up. Go to the place with the red rock, go to the place with the bell curve. And I went, okay, then I guess they mean somewhere out in Arizona. I don't know. And then when I read your book, I went, oh, and I kept being woken up with the same thing. So I'm expecting a gift there personally. I'm really hoping I can have like a CE 9 or 10 contact. I already told my husband, I'm like, look, he said, it's cool. He's so laid back. He said, sure, go. I mean, we've seen big UFOs. He was totally chilling with it. So I'm like, I am getting on. I just want you to know that I got no problem with that. And I get excited about things like that. So, but yeah, and I looked at your book and I'm like, that is a place.
So you went, that's Bell Rock and Sedona is what you were seeing. And I actually put a photo in there of a extraterrestrial round silver orb probe that was flying along the side of the highway when I was driving towards Bell Rock, and I grabbed my camera phone and I actually got it. Yeah, so I put that picture in the book.
Right. That is so cool. Well, there's a lot of activity. I know that in the Sedona area, and we're going to talk about that in the second one, because I know I have people writing on what's your favorite place. You're going to hear not just maybe favorite places, but places you've had a lot of ET action.
Well, yeah. So
spiritual things occur. I'm sure you'll be going into that as well. That's because you go into some things, but I know you've had a tremendous amount of contact and experiences and seeing things.
Yeah, we'll go into a lot of those things. I will definitely talk about some of the UFO hotspots that did not make it into the book, because I had to keep it at a certain number of pages. I will talk about some of the things that in some of the sections that I didn't write about, or which got omitted due to time, space constraints and things like that. But I think, some of the other fun things that we'll talk about are, we'll talk about what are energetic crystalline grids like. What are those all about? Like, I recently shot an episode of Ancient Aliens that's going to be on the new season, talking about hotspots and grid lines and ley lines and all those kinds of things. Where you'll learn about where there's energy portals. Some of these places actually have these kind of portals. And one is a negative and a positive portal.
Is that the Bell, masculine and feminine?
No, we're talking about a portal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Bell Rock is masculine energy. It's positive, uplifting, psychic energy. Like, your psychic ability, even as great as it is now, will go whoo like that.
Really? I'm ready.
Right?
I'm going to levitate. That's my goal.
Yeah. And so there's that. But Cathedral Rock in Sedona is a masculine feminine vortex.
Okay.
Right. And then there's other vortexes that are feminine and things like that. You'll learn about those also. We can talk about all of those vortexes in Sedona.
And you'll also talk about the difference between portals and vortexes and what to expect from each.
Absolutely. And interdimensional things, right?
Yeah,
because I was on a case, and the actual abductee was telling me the story and brought me to a certain place where his backyard is forest, and back in North Carolina. And so I had a Minolta camera, and I just kept snapping pictures. It was a little before dusk, and I heard stuff rustling in the back there, right? And he was telling me the story that, after they put him back after his abduction, and then getting home, running into the house where his family was not there. He was with one of his younger sons. And they both saw them walking out, and I actually caught one of them on film. We didn't see it with the naked eye, but we saw it. We saw it with on camera, and we're able to lighten it up and see the interdimensional devices that they were using to actually make this happen. And my friend said to me, he said, they wanted you to capture their picture.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we'll show that picture in the webinar.
Oh,
right?
man.
Yeah.
So
We'll
is it
show
the
that
actual
picture.
craft or the being?
No,
The
the being. It's the being.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
And they don't look like us.
Yeah.
They don't look like us. I will just give you a little hint. Their legs end where our knees are.
That's crazy.
And they're and they're tall, and they have the longest torso you ever saw. So, yeah, And we'll talk about, the portals that are in and around at some of these areas throughout the United States.
Yes.
And especially where you will for sure be able to see craft in the sky, right?
Okay.
There are some places that literally you're guaranteed you're going to see it with night vision binoculars for sure.
Okay,
right?
I got to get some of those. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
Night vision goggles, everybody.
that's right. And we'll talk about, DNA activations. We'll talk about cellular activations, what all of that is, what the process was in waking me up through the cellular memory that happened to me way back when I was 26. And then we'll talk about some of the places where extraterrestrials have been seen and
so where
spotted.
Where they live on Earth?
Where they have been seen and spotted. Yeah, there are some places where we know that they live underground in their own base, in their own bases, and we can talk about some of those. Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 races that I know of. And then there are bases with our military, with some of the ET races in different areas around the U.S.
Absolutely. You know what? I think it's interesting that I came upon this. I love Gaia. Definitely think you need your own show on Gaia if anyone's listening. But the cosmic disclosure, I mean, that show blows my mind, and more people are coming out, but it corroborates what the things that what you've written about and what you've done is actually in line with it. And but it's from a different viewpoint, maybe from a former military or whatever.
Right.
Very fascinating. And these places do exist. I mean, it is, to me, very exciting that there's different timelines, there are different versions, that we're living in this holographic universe of matrix. I mean, because that's saying to me that I believe enough in my abilities that I can undo this. And together we can undo this.
Well, we all can. We all can. And you have to look at it like this, that the government is not going to give us disclosure. They're going to give us little trinkets of it. We are the ones, the people are the ones, one by one with us, working on ourselves spiritually and knowing that other life exists is what ignites all of our consciousness.
Right.
And we're going to be the ones that turn the planet over, because we are all those beings that come from everywhere else. Where, I mean, really think about it. Where is your soul origin from? Are you an earth being? Probably not. Right? You're not. By the way, speaking of Gaia, I will be on their 2nd season of Deep Space, which, yeah, I'm not sure when that's airing. And that is primarily all about extraterrestrials.
Awesome. Yeah, man, you need your own show, especially after this movie comes out, because I mean, you're so humble, and I just love that about you. I thought when I first met you, I thought, oh, he's Hollywood. Oh boy, this is gonna have a big hit. You're so kind and loving and humble, and I'm just thrilled in everything you're doing to help educate in such a loving way to people, to make this palatable and digestible. And then, but you don't hold back. Like, when I've asked things, you're like, well, if you know something, fine. If you don't. And I think that's how you're going to be at this webinar as well. So I want to tell everybody, please sign up. I've got it right here. So, and there he is. And that will be the, and I can see there will be a part 2 to this book, because there's just, I mean,
there's so many. There's so many. Yeah, so many.
Packed so much in here already. But this will be on next Saturday. If you can't come, you can still, it's still the same cost, and you can get the unlimited replays, which we will be having. And so do stay. And you can also, I gave you the underneath, you've got where you can purchase his books directly. And he does make a little comment to you. and so forth. So I tell you what, I'm excited about this coming up. Do you want to have any last words to mention about the
I do. It's actually a week from this Saturday on December 3rd.
Yes, thank you. A week.
Yes,
I meant a week. Not this Saturday.
Yes.
Next Saturday.
A week from this Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next Saturday.
Exactly.
Thank you for keeping me straight. Time doesn't mean much to me. I've always walked 4 hours a day from when I was 28 hours on that other planet. So thanks, Craig.
You're welcome. Well, it'll be very exciting. I've been to a lot of these hotspots, and some of my team have been to some of the more darker hotspots. And so I will share their stuff, which I shared in the book. And I didn't share all the dark stuff that was there, but you couldn't pay me to go to those places. I was invited. They were going and they wanted me to go, and I said no, I can't.
Bring this. Okay.
Yeah, always.
You
know what? When you get those, take a picture of it with your phone, and that way it's in your phone and it's with you all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
These are in my windows.
Yes, I do. I do the same thing. They're in my windows too.
And just in case, because I do a lot of astral travel, so
yes,
I'm pretty good at handling the spirits and the ghosties and demons. Pretty good at that. But the astral, there's other stuff and dimensions. I just don't want to open anywhere, so I just keep this here. And that's part of the whole astral traveling, grounding, and doing all of that. So that's also. That's all. We're going to go into other things like that at my school. I'm also supposed to be doing this portal of ascension in the fall, talking about astral traveling, how to do it in a safe way. I really enjoy it. It's an awful lot of fun to me. Well, look, everybody sign up, be a part of this. And Craig, you're a delight as always. And thank everybody for watching the live show. And then also next Thursday that you're going to come back on and talk about some areas, some specific areas, just little nuggets like Sedona, and talk just a little bit about kind of what their appetite about the webinar. So we're going to talk a little bit more about it, because people still don't know what is a portal, what is a vortex, why is that important to me, and why should I attend this UFO? What does that have to do with me? And I think it has everything to do. It's things
it does.
It's part of us.
You have to be spiritually prepared for things, and some people could get very woozy and lightheaded and almost faint, so they have to learn what kind of grounding tools and things to bring with them, because everybody is going to experience it differently.
That's a very good point. That's a good point. So we'll talk about just some more of Craig next Thursday. Please sign up. It's going to be a blast, and it supports Craig. It supports me. He's phenomenal. Then I'll have him back. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a teaser by signing up for this course on UFOs and different hotspots, what it means. We're going to go into more detail and how this applies to you. He's going to be offering, we're creating it right now. I mean, this is something that has come up. We're going to be doing on the different races, the galactic races revealed. He's going to be doing a little snippet of something, a course after that, because that's what people want to hear. And what does that have to do with us? And what is the connection? And why are they here? And why are they invested in us? So,
yes,
Craig, you've been phenomenal. Everybody, please sign up for the event below that I have here, and that's at the academyofdivinewisdom.com. And if you go to /events, you'll see Craig's picture right there. You click, you can sign up, and then also consider joining my mailing list, and you get a free Christ light meditation. It's about 30 minutes. You'll get high on it. I'm telling you, it's that same light that I was when I was all spirit and my several of my NDEs. You're going to feel it, because I bring it. That's what I like doing. I like bringing the light. So look, thank everybody. Thank you, Craig. And
thank you.
Can't wait to see you next Thursday. Take care.
Bye. Everybody.
Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.